Welcome. What is up? Welcome to This Week in the Mixer 2.24. What is it? Week 9? Week 9 wrap up.
Week 9 wrap up going to week 10.
Yeah, so we're getting close. We only got like four more weeks of regular season play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're running away with top spot, but the rest of it is pretty up in the air. I mean, there are a few teams that stand out as far as division winners. It looks like Anthony's probably we'll get into the standings later, but a lot of playoff spots still to be decided. A lot of seeding still to be decided. It's anybody's game to play for second place at least. So we're gonna get to the matchups right off the bat, and I feel like I need this. I've been waiting for multiple weeks, so we'll start with my game against Zach.
Oh, you're excited. You won, so you want to start with it. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
Super excited. Well, I mean, I had been trying to get it out of the way so we can be done with it, but now I'm eager. So, I mean, prior to this matchup, I traded Melvin Gordon to Zach for DJ Chark. So, of course, he started Melvin Gordon. We'll go through Zach's team first. He got 21 out of Deshaun Watson, 25 out of Melvin Gordon, who he had on his bench at first, but I don't know if that was a late swap. I think I guess he had James Conner in there, and then James Conner was ruled out.
Yeah.
He got 18 out of DJ Moore, 24 out of Preston Williams,
who unfortunately is out for the year now.
Yeah, 16 out of Wentz. Those are just some standouts. For my team, I got 25 out of Josh Jacobs. Very nice, 27 points out of Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Derek Carr, who I stream started, got me 22. And then, really one of the deciding moments in this game was the Sunday Night Football game. Lamar Jackson. There were a lot of questions that people had heading into that game. Baltimore facing the New England D, which had been wrecking shop.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, who had been wrecking shop. So what was the outcome going to be? Lamar Jackson just dominated. He put up 30 points. Got me that nice boost on Sunday night. Then this matchup came down to Zeke versus Cowboys D. I think Zach had like a 20 point deficit. Which, I mean, Zeke could cover on his own. He only managed 14. Cowboys defense got me 17, so I was able to lock this one up pretty handily. I didn't have flashbacks to that. It was the Sunday Night Football where Mason pulled off that comeback with Des Bryant and Zeke. I saw the person wearing the Zeke jersey in the break room. I was like, fuck, not this again. Not this again. The simulation is gonna destroy me again. But yeah, it worked out. I beat Zach 157 to 134, even though I spotted him 25 points with Melvin Gordon, basically. So what do you have to add for this one, Jeff?
I mean, it was a good all-around game from your team for once.
Yeah.
That's,
yeah. I mean, I benched Curtis Samuel, who was coming off an injury of some sort and had a tough matchup, and he got 16, so I'm still making bad roster decisions, but got the win this week.
Yeah, I mean, you got the important part done.
So up to 3-6. Yes, suck on that.
Hey, it keeps you in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I mean, the bummer is I think Zach is like one of the highest scorers for in the league. I think he's like fourth.
He's third.
Third, yeah, and so like I kind of need him to get in on record. So it's like,
well, I mean, you're close enough with 4 weeks left. Like, you have a chance still to get in on record too.
Yeah, we'll get into more detailed analysis on the standings a little bit later. So we want to move on to the next matchup. We got Anthony versus Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Really good matchup. This is probably game of the week, if you ask me, as far as entertainment goes. So we'll go with Sean first. He got 22 out of Jameis, 37. Mike Evans, who continues to have great games. That Seattle-Tampa Bay game was one of the more entertaining ones of the week.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz had a big day. He's, been a little bit under the shadow of the better tight end in Dallas Goedert. But
I don't know about that.
But somehow Zach Ertz got 26. I think he got like 10, 100 and a touchdown or something. It was a really big day.
Yeah.
For him. For Anthony, he got 29 out of Kenyon Drake on Thursday night,
that was huge, and probably a little unexpected.
Definitely unexpected. DK Metcalf in that same game as Mike Evans, he got 27. Kenny Galladay got 24. Anthony entered Monday night in a hole with Dak to go, and Anthony wins it on that late-ish Amari Cooper touchdown. Puts him over the top. He wins 150 to 147.
Yeah, this one was really, this was one of the better games, and Anthony won it at the end with the, Dak throwing to Amari. But what really won this was the Kenyon Drake, against the
Thursday
49ers.
Night performance.
Yeah, because Anthony ends up with 33 points out of his running backs versus Sean's 10.
Yeah, especially with Sean having Kamara and Gurley on bye.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss for Sean.
It is, but Anthony's got a good team. He's tough to deal with.
Yeah. Sean will be encouraged by putting up a good point total, but it's kind of that's his fourth loss in a row. I think he now has the worst record. He's at the bottom of the standings.
Yep.
To put up 147, to have the lead for at least after Sunday, and then to lose it right at the end on that last Amari Cooper play. I feel for you, Sean. The simulation is cruel, as you understand and program it to be. You're the reigning champ, so it's tough to feel too bad for you. But
he clearly, controlling the simulation, gave himself a championship last year.
Yeah.
And so that people don't catch on too quickly, has to put himself, near the bottom this year, so that there's a little doubt there.
If you don't come to This Week in the Mixer for entertainment, come here to at least connect the dots and stay woke. All right, so we're going to move on to the next matchup. We have Jess versus Danny, another good matchup. So Danny got, a lot of people scoring in the same points range.
Yeah, Danny had what I think most of us would consider is a pretty good week in terms of how everyone scored.
Yeah.
The problem he had is no one got over 20.
Yeah, so just going through the list, 16, 14, 19, 16, 15, 15, 15, 14, 3 out of Seattle's D. But everybody's scoring in that same pocket. Maybe 14 for Saquon is a disappointment. 15 out of Devontae Parker, 15 out of Mike Williams, and 15 out of Hunter Henry. I think he would have signed up for that. No real huge mistakes. He benched Baker for Rivers, which kind of cost him the matchup. But
yeah, this is also the first week, I think, since Danny, that I can remember Danny hasn't played Sanu. And if he does play Sanu, he gets the win.
Yeah.
So, he'll probably be kicking himself and tilting the way he normally does about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's
tough to start 2 New England receivers. He has Edelman in there. Maybe make a reasonable trade offer, Danny. I'd be happy to take Edelman off your hands.
It's also
starts anew.
It's just hard to win a game when someone on your opponent's team goes for 40 too.
Yeah.
Right? That just makes it tough with Jess having Russ going for 42. Then she's got Emmanuel with 25. And after that, it was kind of pedestrian for the most part. Mm-hmm. But those two together just put up enough to get the job done.
Yeah. I'm surprised Aaron Rodgers got her 14 because he had 60 yards passing or something after the first 3 quarters. So she ekes this one out 130 to 127. Danny, I'm sure, was tilting all night hoping that Saquon could manage more than 14 on Monday Night Football, but he takes the loss this week. So
yeah, that's tough.
Another tough one for Danny. Next up, we got Matt versus Mason.
Matt's team did the opposite of Danny's, and he only had 3 people get double digits. We might have to start, 79 might be the low score this year. I haven't looked.
It's possible.
But it's got to be around there.
It's 10 better than a nice score, but it is not a good score. He got 10 out of Minshew, whose production in London is probably going to earn him a spot on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just be sitting there, probably in jockstrap only and a headband, riding the pine. But, it's a good look for him. Fournette managed 12 in that same game. Derrick Henry, the one bright spot on Matt's team, he got 24.
Mm-hmm.
He did have some guys do some good work on the bench, but the way Damian Williams has been playing, you can't really start him. Devin Singletary, maybe, but not the best play. And then Brissett got hurt.
Yep.
And only got him 2. Matt was right up there towards the top for that for the last point spot. So it's a good 79. It came at a really bad time. I noticed in the chat he was deferring to locking up a playoff spot in his money league.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I always do when I'm doing poorly, is I reference other areas of my life or other leagues where I'm exceeding. So I see what you're doing, Matt. It works sometimes to defer, but you can count on this week in the mixer that we're gonna spot that out and bring it up and shame you.
There you go.
So Mason, he had a really bad week too. He only managed 116.
Yeah, well, when one of your best receivers, Allen Robinson, has a high school quarterback throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
He only manages 1 catch. He put up a wide receiver 1 season with Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
Right? Like, come on now.
a real quarterback. Mason, he didn't, what happened? Oh, sorry. I'm getting my crappy quarterbacks mixed up. He rolls Daniel Jones every week.
Yeah.
Anthony rolls Mitch Trubisky every week.
Yeah.
So they're dying on separate hills here. They need better quarterback solutions, basically.
I do think one thing that comes out of this game is I'm pretty sure they did it for the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But the water bet between Matt and Mason's got that pretty much locked up, barring an injury. Because Minshew looks like he's not playing when they come back off bye.
Yeah. We'll see. Things can change, but for now, I don't like it when bets in that way because of injury. But, a bet's a bet. These guys better be mans of their words and own up to it. All right, so we'll move on to, I believe this is the last matchup.
Yep. Me against Jake.
You against Jake. So we'll go with Jake's team first. It's his turn to run into the buzzsaw that is your squad.
It's his second time.
He got 23 out of Kirk Cousins and 31 out of Garoppolo. So good quarterback play, but, supporting cast didn't do anything. Tevin Coleman really disappointing with 5 points after he had been, I think the week before he put up 30 or something at least. Adam Thielen got hurt, so 0 points out of him.
Yeah, that was rough.
Odell Beckham actually hit his projections for once, but, 13 points out of Odell Beckham being like a better week is not what he drafted him for. So a disappointing week for Jake, only managing 105 points. Your squad, on the other hand, continues to really stand out. You wanna talk about some of the highlights of your team this week, since you know it better than anybody?
This was, so like you said earlier, that Tampa Bay Seattle game was big, and having Tyler Lockett, he went 13, 150 and 2 touchdowns, right? Puts up 41 points. That's always nice. McCaffrey, again, going 38 points. Seems like it's almost, every other week he does something like that. Dalvin Cook with a down week, getting 15. Chris Godwin with a down week, getting 13. I was a little worried after the Thursday night game when I just looked at the scores. I think I had 44 and Jake was at like 41 or 39, something like that.
Yeah, he got 31 out of Garoppolo, and he only got 3 out of the defense.
So I think he was at 39.
Oh, yeah.
And when I first looked at the score, I was like, 44-39. This is going to be, this could be a tough week. But then I went in and looked at it, and he got 31 out of Garoppolo and then 9 out of his other 2. And I had 25 from Kyler and 19 from Kittle. I was feeling a little bit better about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, it was a good week, right? Obviously, I'm thankful. I've been pretty lucky this year that a lot of the guys I liked have worked out. And I hope it keeps going. That's about all I got.
Yeah. You only got 4 out of Patriots D, so they didn't chip in with their obligatory 20. Maybe that's concerning for you, but I mean, they're just a defense. Most people usually get 5 to 8 points out of defense anyway, so your team has had more than enough to cover it. I do briefly want to touch on Christian McCaffrey. He seems like he's the number 1 running back, and I would like to take a very, very late victory lap. I think in his draft class, who else came out? Was it Fournette?
Was he
Fournette? Derrick Henry. Who else was in that class? Was it just Fournette, Derrick Henry, and Christian McCaffrey, or am I missing someone?
I'm pretty sure it was Fournette and McCaffrey, because Fournette went like 3rd or 4th overall, and McCaffrey went like 7th.
But was Derrick Henry part of that draft class as well? I think
Maybe,
he was.
yeah.
I think he was, and everybody was saying, Fournette or Gurley. Was that the Melvin Gordon?
No.
Now I'm blending them all together. But anyway, I know he was. There was like the big 3. Or maybe it was just when they were in college. I'm mixing up a whole bunch of things. But anyway, I said McCaffrey was better than all of them, and he's the RB1 now. So, I mean, pause it in time. My take is right, so suck on that. You guys were laughing at me when I said McCaffrey.
Suck on that.
I think it was probably Justin, who doesn't ever watch this, I'm sure.
Well, that's because Justin hates on the Pac-12.
Yeah, it's true. And anyway, McCaffrey's a stud. He's going to be a top 3 running back next year. The guy has a huge workload and has been relatively healthy his career, so he's really fun to watch. I just wanted to point that out.
There you go.
It's nice to see a white running back.
Darius Sanders
being relevant. Darius Sanders is a great nickname. So those are the matchups. How they played out. I just want to go over, or we want to go over the standings now to get a layout of the league. We're getting closer to playoffs.
So there is a playoff spot that's been wrapped up. It's a top 2 spot. Guaranteed division winner in the hose division.
Oh, yeah.
With a record of 9-0. Next best record in the division is Jake at 4-5. And we only have 4 games left. So even if I go 0-4 and he goes 4-0, I'm still going to be a game ahead.
So let's go through the records of everybody real quick. So yeah, I mean, you basically have 2 games that matter now since you got first round bye. It's probably the earliest it's ever been locked up. I mean, we did a really good job balancing these divisions clearly. Well, I mean, I guess... Anyway, we'll go through the records real fast. So in the hose division, you're at top at 9-0, and then everybody else is at 4-5. So I guess the system with our tiebreakers built in, I'm not sure if it defaults to the total points, but because I'm sure everybody has like wins and losses versus everybody. But we have Jake in second at 4-5, Matt in third at 4-5, Jess 4th at 4-5, and then Danny in last at 4-5.
There's the other thing in this division too is in the points for battle, right? Total points. There's essentially like a 70-point difference from Jake at 1156 to Danny at 1089.
Yeah. So
right. So 4 weeks, 70 points. Like anything can kind of happen there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a tight race. And then in the boats division, we have Anthony at top at 6-3. Remember, winner of this division gets a bye. So regardless of how anybody else does in the other division, the winner of this division gets that bye. So Mason's at 5-4, Zach's at 4-5, I'm at 3-6, and then Sean's in last at 2-7. And so just a reminder, so we give two playoff spots to the division winners. They get the bye. And then 2 spots to the next two best records. So right now, that would be Mason would get one of those spots, and then it would be
either Zach or someone in my division.
Yeah, either Zach or someone in your division. And I assume they'll have. It's not like Zach has beaten all those other people, or Jake has beaten all those other people, because the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. The second tiebreaker is total points. And in situations where, like, Zach's beat Jake, but lost to Matt, and then Matt's beaten Jake or something like that, it just defaults to total points, since everybody kind of has, like, different tiebreakers. So who has the most points out of the 4 and 5 teams?
Zach does. He's got about a 70-point lead on Jake. Okay,
so then Zach would get that second spot, or the 4 spot that would go to the team with the next best record. And then it would be down to the 5th and 6th seed. That's all points. So who has the next best points out of everybody?
It would be Jake at that point.
So Jake gets the 5, and then who would get the 6? Who has the next best points out of
Jake? That looks like it would be Matt.
Matt with
1T.
So right now he has 1,131 points. Taking a look at the rest, so Jess has 1,118.
Mm-hmm.
Sean has 1,116 points. Danny has 1,089, and then I'm in last with 1,083. But I'm only 50 points off of Matt. So there's for that last playoff spot, there's 50 points. That's how close it is. And bringing it back, Matt scored 79 points this week, and he's got the last spot. So I scored, the last place team scored 157. So I made up 70 points. Sorry, I don't have a calculator. In 1 week. So all in theory within a week's worth of this race for the last spot, this race for the last 2 spots can literally be flipped on its end in 1 week. So this week, as we'll get into the matchups next, a lot of buys. There's 6 teams on a bye, and some teams are really hurting. So
yeah, this
is like these next 2 weeks. I mean, any game from here on out. But this week, I kind of always, at least when I was writing, I would try to have a theme for each week. And this one is I think it's separate, or not necessarily separation. Well, yeah, plant your flag week, separation week, whatever you want to call it. This is a pivotal week. This is like everybody's at a crossroads.
Yeah.
You gotta make a play now. You really need the points more than anything. But yeah, it's definitely
be a big week.
Yeah, it's definitely a week to tilt your lineup submissions more than any other, more than normal, because everybody's still in it. But if you have a bad week, if you score 79 points again,
which is, I just checked, it is the lowest score in the league this year.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to do that if everybody else is putting up 150. I hope it's not me. I feel you, Matt. I've struggled to get to 100 a few times this year. But now is the worst possible time for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the matchups for next week. Who is this? So okay, we'll get this out of the way now. We got, clearly the best team in the league versus me, who is the worst team if we're going by points.
So if you haven't figured it out, it's me against Rob this week.
Yeah, it's the TWIM derby between the two, the host and the guest star. We're still going to refer to you as.
I'm good with
now.
that.
You got to earn your pinstripes, Jeff.
I'm good with it.
As a Yankee fan, you can respect that. So I mean, I was like 6 teams are on bye. Like maybe I catch some fire. I know I got some people on bye. Hopefully, at one point I was thinking like, oh, maybe Jeff has like McCaffrey and Dalvin Cook on bye. Not knowing who the teams are on bye, just knowing the fact that a lot of teams are on bye. You don't have anybody on bye.
I have the New England defense on a bye.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got your... Okay.
So this is another way that I've gotten lucky this year, right? Is like all my guys had buys earlier in the year, pretty much, right? I think Dalvin might be the only one who hasn't. He has a bye week 12. But, McCaffrey bye earlier. I believe Kyler is a week 12 as well, right? But he hasn't been completely pivotal. Godwin bye earlier. Lockett, I believe, already had his bye. All these guys have already...
Yeah, so I'm facing the full strength of the legacy leavers. And, I have some I have Chark, who I just traded for on bye, who would definitely be a starter. I have Dallas, the T1 in Philly, on bye. Philip Lindsay, who I probably wouldn't start anyway, on bye. Kenny Stills, who I would start on bye. Dorsett, who I would possibly spot start on bye. So, I do get Goff back from bye. However... his play hasn't been guaranteed. I am thinking of super flexing Jalen Samuels. I really wish Jalen Samuels had dual eligibility like he did in Yahoo leagues last year.
You throw him in at tight end?
Or wide receiver. He caught like 10 passes last week.
Yeah, true.
For like 70 yards. But yeah, I am considering making that play. I don't think I will. So... the struggle's real. I think I'm projected for 125. You're projected for like 148, but you still have to add your defense or something. So, ESPN is projecting you to win. It says I have like a 30% chance of pulling it off. So, crazier things have happened, right?
They definitely have.
So, maybe you'll be the team that scores 79 points this week.
Could be. It could happen to anyone.
I will say... Lockett has a tough matchup, but other than that, everybody should do pretty well. So, fingers crossed. Come on, guys. Root for me. I'm like, I should be the, the lovable loser, the underdog story, whatever you want to call it.
You're trying to be Rudy right now?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah. Rudy?
I'm Rudy. Okay. I'm not going to line up offsides, but, we need this dub, but in actuality, I'm only playing for points. We've talked about this too much. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope.
Okay, so we're gonna move on. Zach versus Anthony. This is a kind of a pivotal matchup here for the GOATs division. Is that what we are?
Yeah. So this is definitely a big matchup because Anthony is at the top and
6-3.
He's got a pretty good points lead. He's over 100 points above Zach, who's in third total points. But, if Zach happens to pull this win off and Anthony loses, now there's only a game difference with 3 games left to play. It can change how the outlook for some teams and, what's going on in that division.
So Zach's got a few players on bye. He's got both his quarterbacks on bye. Did he pick anybody up?
He's got Kyle Allen.
Yeah, he's got Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz, who when I took my screenshot were the only ones on his roster, are both on bye. And then Kyle Allen, he should throw him in, but
he's also starting Melvin Gordon.
Is he okay? So is he super? What's his lineup look right now? Is he super flexing anybody?
He's super flexing James Conner at the moment.
Okay, who's very questionable.
Right.
Very questionable. So I don't think Zach runs out and picks up a different quarterback, because if he drops, he definitely can't drop Deshaun Watson. Definitely, probably not going to drop Wentz, and you want to hang on to Kyle Allen, I'm sure, since Cam was placed on IR, but it's really tough for Zach.
Yeah. I mean, the tough thing too, like Anthony's, based on the matchup right now, taking a 0 in his offensive player spot, his flex, because he's got Matt Moore in there. But he's probably going to activate Mahomes and start him, would be my guess. So Anthony's, projected for, 126 right now?
Yeah.
I imagine that going up to around 150-ish.
Yeah, so unless some sort of miracle happens for Zach, Anthony's probably gonna walk to 7-3. Really kind of definitively stamp his hold on that last division winner spot, and the last bye spot. So
Anthony's also looks like he's done what the Bears should probably do, and he's sitting Mitch. Good choice.
Not dying on that hill for his fantasy team, at least, where your takes are really come to fruition, really show deep down inside who you are. So there is some hope for you, Anthony. Next matchup, Sean versus Mason. Mason's got a chance at that last bye spot to win the division. He's got some decisions to make. He's got Hopkins on bye, Duke Johnson on bye, Darren Fells on bye. Apparently,
Jordan Howard on bye.
Apparently, Mason is a secret Houston shill for Houston. Amari Cooper, he's gonna have going on Sunday night. So I mean, Mason's got a pretty good shot in this one. They are projected pretty close, but people's rosters aren't filled out. Sean will get Kamara back this week.
Should, yeah.
But other than that, Jameis is going against Arizona. That might be a high-scoring game. Robert Woods may be relevant with Brandon Cooks being out. So
Sean also doesn't have a tight end to play yet.
Yeah, this should be a close matchup. I think Mason's got the better squad overall, so I think he takes it. But I think this is going to be kind of low scoring. I feel like it's going to be maybe 130 to the team that wins, and then I think Sean might actually struggle to get to 100 unless Mike Evans scores 40 again. Well, I mean, he's got Kamara back, so yeah, I guess it'll be close.
I think this is like a 130-115 game.
Okay.
But I think Mason pulls it out. I think Mason and Anthony win and create some separation at the top of that division over there.
Okay. So get the points where you can, Sean, because at 2-7, you're definitely not getting one of the spots awarded your record. You're playing for points, so really the outcome of this matchup for you is kind of irrelevant.
Right.
I mean, maybe program that in for yourself. I believe this is the last matchup, Danny versus Jake.
One more.
Okay, we got one more. This is projected pretty close. I'm pretty sure Danny fills out his lineup like Tuesday night at 12:01. He wants to lock it in, and then tilt over the last remaining roster decisions the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. He's projected for 127. He's going to have Rivers, a lot of players actually going on Thursday night. So I'm sure the thread will be blowing up when the Chargers have 3 points
in the third quarter.
No, I was going to say 3 points in the third minute of the game, and he's upset that Rivers hasn't thrown 3 touchdowns to Hunter Henry and Mike Williams already.
Isn't that your favorite message of the day every Sunday at 10:30 in the morning when Danny just immediately
good
is
game.
like, "Oh,
GG.
good game,
GG." GG. So Danny's going to be sending out the good games.
Thursday night.
Yeah, probably at 5:40. Lock it in. Set a calendar reminder. 5:40 Thursday night. He'll throw out the GGs to Jake.
Yep.
I can't wait. On Jake's side, he's got Kirk Cousins against Dallas, which might shoot out. He's got Tyrell Williams. So Tyrell Williams will get a touchdown in the first
Revenge
5
game.
minute. It is a Tyrell Williams revenge game.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have that narrative going. And it's Williams versus Williams. I love this matchup. It's the wrong Williams versus the right Williams. That knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, so Tyrell will get a touchdown in the first 5 minutes of that game. Rivers will probably have a fumble and an interception. Danny will send out the GG, and the rest of this matchup doesn't matter. So let's move on. Last up, Jess against Matt. It's the Gardella Bowl. It's everybody's favorite bowl.
It is.
So, we got Russ going against San Francisco, so that'll be fun for a few reasons.
Matt's got Fournette on bye, James White on bye, Minshew on a bye.
Really rough. I do remember looking at Matt's lineup for this week and seeing, after that 79-point performance, the disappointment of last week, to see that you have a lot of these key players on bye, and Mark Walton suspended. It's tough. Matt's in a tough spot.
He is. Jess has Sony on bye, so she's got to put in another running back, probably Freeman, I'm assuming. But this looks like it'll be a decently close matchup. I think Jess will pull it out, though.
I think Jess pulls it out, sticks it in, gets the win in the Gardella Bowl, and maybe climbs into the driver's spot for the 5 or 6 seed. I know she's right there.
Yeah.
So it's the battle for the pants. It's the battle for the dungarees. Who's gonna wear them? Probably Jess. So we're running a little long. That's all I got. Unless you had something to add.
That's all I got.
So
good luck this week.
Yeah, good luck this week, Mason. There may or may not be a link to a Pontiac Fiero fan page on this week in the Mixer.
Mason, I'm just letting you know,
article.
If Rob likes it, it's probably a trash car. So you should probably avoid it.
I mean, it's like it is majority of trash, but there is some brilliance to it, which is what I try to incorporate into every part of my life.
There you go.
So that's it, guys. Good luck in week 10. Make those roster decisions. And most importantly, remember, Epstein didn't kill himself. See you guys.